Hello, everybody. Happy Friday. Happy Friday afternoon. I hope everybody had a good week. Happy Memorial Weekend for everybody. Um, I have a message for you today, more like a little bit of an insight that seem to be needed some. There is a topic that needs some clarity. So some of my subscribers are reaching out to me and they asking me to talk with their Ukrainian or Russian ladies. They asking me to connect with them and help them to understand maybe certain questions, certain ideas about how it's going to be in US, and maybe relieve their anxiety a little bit, because unless you've been here, unless you spend time here, you really have no idea how it's gonna be. So I'm here to tell you a little bit about what I can do and when it makes sense to do it, so you will have no confusion. Hello everyone. Hello everyone. Happy Friday. Hello John. Two Johns. I should make a wish. Hey Green King and everybody else who's gonna be watching. So I do that kind of service, and I've done it many times. I can say successfully. So basically, what I do is I reach out to your lady and I just answer all your questions. As a Ukrainian, who has been here for actually more than 10 years, 11 years I've been here now, and the difference between her asking me and her asking you is that that she could relate to the experience, and she could feel some support. Also, asking some questions that only women would understand. It's just we operating on more of an emotional level, and I can totally understand why somebody, and I think you could totally understand why somebody would have a little bit of anxiety and, you can say nervousness, but you can also say, excitement, right? Because you should I feel sometimes that we should turn the word nervousness into excitement. It is very exciting, but we all have our fears. So if your lady had never traveled, if she never really been here, it's okay that she has those, little bit of, she's a little nervous. So this is only one condition that I need to be able to help you. And I do want to make it clear, so you don't have, you have an answer. When would you ask me to help you? Do you ask when you just met somebody? Do you ask when you emailing? So the only time you could really need my help with this, and it would make sense, because I try to not offer you something that you don't need. So it only makes sense if you are already in a committed relationship, you have been together, and basically you had proposed. So you know that this lady is coming to US. You are working on UK1 process, but she just wants to, she has questions that she would like some reassurance. She might have some questions that she is shy to ask you. She might also want to know somebody else's experience in US and how do you adjust, because adjustment is that learning curve where it is definitely a learning curve. And it helped when I came to US. I was very lucky to meet several ladies here, and they really helped me with many things. They've been here longer, a lot longer than I was, and it was really invaluable one of them works in a hospital as their interpreter, and she knew everything, everyone, and how everything works. So she was invaluable, and she was a professional. Basically, when you are interpreter in the hospital, you're not only translating for the patients, but really you do help people to understand things, to understand how everything works. So she was definitely helping new people to adjust, not only get help with their medical needs, but she was very social, and she was professionally also helping people to understand things. So if you have somebody that could talk to you even before you come, maybe you have some fears. I mean, not you, the lady. I could help with it. But it only makes sense, guys, once you have your ducks in a row, once you proposed and you working on K1 visa. There is absolutely no point to hire me to talk with your lady if you had not proposed and you are not working on K1 visa. Why? Because she is not yours. You hadn't claimed her. It's the same thing if you would introduce, like, every girl you go out on a dinner with, you would introduce to your parents. It's gonna be kind of weird. I mean, you could do it, I guess, but it just wouldn't be serious. It's like I mentioned before, it's kind of reminds me also of sharing the skin of the bear you hadn't killed. So you gotta make sure you kill that bear first. Basically, that she's committed and that she's looking forward to be here. And I do want to tell you, it's a very emotional time when you get ready to come here, because even though you probably changed in something you already have and maybe you don't have it as good over in Ukraine, but you already know that. You know what you got. I think all of you guys could relate if you ever changed the city, the state, the job, or you ended the relationship that you knew, even though those things were not the best and probably they were not good at all for you, especially in the long term. But still, when you were going through change, it was very nerve-wracking, and it probably was pretty challenging. So even though you had not moved from Ukraine to US, and maybe you had not changed the country like that, but if you had done ever any moves like that, then you could relate and you can understand why your lady might have some mood swings. She might be a little nervous and ask you a lot of questions. In this situation, I would really recommend that first I consult you and then I talk to her. I did have a few times when the ladies were like, oh my God, don't bring this third woman. They saw me as some kind of maybe a personal friend, or not in a good light. They just, Ukrainian women sometimes can be very suspicious and maybe a little, not really jealous, but kind of suspicious, So, but when you say, you can just tell that that's what I do for a living. I help people to understand each other, because it's true. And so I had this situation where I had several ladies that were like, oh my God, we're not gonna talk to her, who is she? But then the moment I called and said hello, the ice was, it was a real quick icebreaker, and we had a great conversations. And I could also understand some things for you. I can also feel the person, feel their intentions, feel how they feel about you, and how sincere they are. And that just happens as a side effect. It's really weird. I don't need to ask somebody how they feel about somebody else. I can just, I can feel it. And that's what I've been doing for some of my very VIP clients who had doubts. And I am not saying that everybody can make a mistake. By any chance, I'm not a lie detector, or I'm not as any human being, I can make a mistake. But so far it has been 100%, and in some cases it was a successful answer, in some cases it wasn't. So that wasn't only the questions about their adjustment in US, but it also I had some of my clients hired me to understand the person better because they had doubts. And in one case, it was a situation where I could tell that the girl, all she cared was just the financial part, and the way she referred to my client was very cold and not caring. But he couldn't quite get that, and so I had to share it. And so actually right now he's with somebody else who is real. By the way, my friend who is interpreter, she married her client in Ukraine because she was translating at the date. And the girl that her now husband, then client, was talking to, she was asking through her all the financial questions and all things like this. She had no interest in him. And as an honest translator, my friend, she told that client on the date the truth, that this lady is not sincere. She's asking about, what you have. The way she was asking about things was not sincere. So, well, they ended up falling in love, and that what happened. So sometimes you might have some confusing situations. It could be that you just want somebody else's opinion, or you have an issue that you cannot quite translate and you have some worries about it. But coming back to the original topic, so if we come back to original topic, it's basically okay to ask somebody to help you and tell you how things gonna look like. You don't have to hire me. You can hire somebody else, whoever you trust. But it's only makes sense. I don't care whatever anybody tells you. It's only and only makes sense to talk about particular future with you once you had proposed, once you are in committed relationship. Otherwise, it does not make any sense. And if you need some clarity on your relationship, that could be done at any time. So if you need just some help, you don't understand something, or something is challenging, or maybe you have a conflict, that could be done at any time, and I'll be more than happy to help you with that. So that's all, guys. I just want to share this with you because I have several people reaching out at the same time and asking me if I could help, and I don't want to tell you guys that I would not take my time or would not honor your request, but I cannot mislead you and tell you, oh yeah, sure, you need this. You need her to know what's gonna happen in I don't know, in Miami or Chicago, or in her new life. How different it's gonna be. No, she in your search, you don't need that. So I'm just making it. I received several emails on this, so instead of me sitting there and writing my life away, I decided to make this live video. So I hope it's helpful. Hello everybody. Let me see. I'm just want to read some of your comments. John is saying, yes, Veronica, many fears to leave home. Many Ukrainians born and live in the same neighborhood their entire life, just like in US. A lot of people never leave the state or the town. I say we talk about one at a time together, but you are right when the time is right. Yes. Sometimes you are committed. Maybe you had not proposed, but you definitely committed. You spending time together, you working, you are in a relationship and it's exclusive. That's what I mean. Maybe you waiting a little bit, but you are decided that you're proposing, and you spend time together, you talk all the time, you travel together. It's not like it's a girl you have never met and I have to talk with her. It doesn't make any sense. And I just want to, as usually, I want to save you time and money and give you clarity. You absolutely do not have to order something that you don't need. Yeah. John is saying, I live in a small town like you in Pennsylvania, which is similar to Michigan. Yes. And I want to tell you guys, you need some guidance, sometimes just to know how it is. I want to tell you something. I've adjusted pretty well. Somebody asked me also in the email, how do you. I adjusted pretty well, but I'm not, my English is going downhill right now. I would not say that there is no consideration of moving somewhere else, another city in Michigan, maybe, more sophisticated, like Ann Arbor area, that would all the cool Russian and international people live. I'm not saying that I could move out of state at some point. So those things are open. It will depend on my personal life decisions. But on the other hand, I feel as it takes it. I just want to tell you honestly, guys, it takes a lot of courage and a lot of strength and a lot of determination to make for yourself a new home. And especially, if you live in a small town or in a state that is not as, we do have some really great places here in Michigan as well, don't get me wrong. We have high neighborhoods and we have some of the best universities and lakes and all of that, but it takes a lot of courage to make it your home because culture is so different. Like, for example, right now I'm wearing like just a nice, I don't know, I don't want to be too revealing on my life, so I'm not gonna show my dress. But I'm just wearing I'm just wearing a nice dress, a little bit of jewelry, and I was in my son's school. Kids surrounded me in a circle, and those kids who don't know me, I know a lot of them, but those who didn't know me, they were all asking who I was. They were all curious, and they were touching my dress and touching my hair and hugging me, and they were adorable. And I felt it's so sweet. It's such a sweet attention, but it happens because culturally people just go out of their home beat to hell. I'm sorry to say this, and I'm not saying this. There are a lot of very nice people living here in US, but it does take a lot of courage to being well dressed, well groomed every day, despite that you live here. You don't have same conversations you would have in Ukraine with your friends or with your social circle. So it takes a lot to adjust. But when you have somebody that you love, when you have circle, if you have a nice social circle, and she can meet some friends, maybe wives of your friends, then she can be introduced to Russian community. You can actually do pretty well. Even in Michigan, you can do pretty well. My friends in Ann Arbor area pretty much living wonderful lives. There is a big community. It's very strong community. They have holidays always. They all looking amazing. In fact, each time, I know that it's time for me to visit my friends. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm checking my nails, I'm checking my hair, because there is a high standard, but not just the visual, but also what you do with your life, what kind of schedule you have. What kind of goals. They have very, very high standards for life and for their kids. So they basically live in in Ann Arbor area. Oh, like it's a very big area. It's all kinds of little cities. You might not know, even though the metro Detroit is not doing so well, but some of the richest areas are Detroit suburbs. It's so-called the old money, plus some people who doing IT or doing some kind of international business or studying in the University of Michigan. So if you're in Michigan or somewhere in that area, that's a great area. It has huge Russian community. It's even have Russian kindergarten or Russian daycare, and it has Russian school also. So my point is this. it's gonna take you some time, it's gonna take her some time to build that nest. It's gonna take you some time. First of all, she's gonna get to know you, your family, if you have it in your town or around, and your friends. And then she will slowly build her circle, her friends. You can go to, Russian stores. You can go to a church, and you meet one person or two, and usually it's spread. You will know everybody with time, and then she will know everybody with time, and then she will choose who she wants to be. And I can tell you, if I could have here in Michigan, if I could have my Russian friends here and my family, I would be, doing even a lot better than I'm doing right now. Because it's all about relating. It's all about being able to having those in-depth conversations. I've never knew that the culture is playing such a incredible role. That common background, it really does. It really does. It's nice to be able to connect on that level when your world is connected to another person's world, and you don't need to. It's just instant. And it's wonderful. I visited. I have a wonderful friend here, not too far from me, about 30 minutes, maybe 40 minutes. And we got together within the last couple of weeks several times, and I felt like home. But we not only connected on our background, it just happens instant. And you feel, when I connect with sweet people like that, I feel like I'm drinking the most delicious tea, and every drop of it is like going into my body, like every cell of my body. So it will take time to find those friends, but once you make those friends, you establish those connections, it makes things whole a lot sweeter and easier and cozier and homier, if you know what I mean. It makes things a lot more pleasant. And now when my own life is improving and developing and starting to just blossom in many ways, I can allow myself to see more of the friends. So in your case, you might even have a situation where you don't have all those challenges that I had to had. So she might be able to build connections with people earlier. And friendships are growing here a lot faster. For what you need in a regular situation, you need several years. Here can be achieved in several months. People and immigrants, they connect deeper when they are far away from their home. They connect a lot deeper, especially if they have something in common. If they just enjoy each other. The two friends I have that live not too far from me, they are wonderful. We don't really have that much in common, but I'm just in love with their personalities. So when we get together, it's just like most delicious, delightful, delirious experience. And I wish the same to your lady, to your fiancé. Once again, if you live in a more sophisticated community, you will have the church, the shop. So my friend who lives in, who works in University of Michigan, who is an interpreter, she's very, very, how to say this correctly? She's very extroverted. She knows just everybody under the sun. She's amazing. She's very outgoing. And I feel when I come over to their space, I feel like I'm back to Ukraine. I'm either back to Odessa, I'm back to Kiev, because they basically live a beautiful life. They have most important people with them. A lot of them have their mothers there and even fathers. They have kids, they have close friends, they have their husbands, and basically they having a wonderful time. They get together not only on holidays, they get together a lot. So I really think it's wonderful, and one of my goals for 2019 is to reconnect, you know, with more wonderful people like that. And for you guys, you can use this time to make your research, and you can make some friends even before, maybe not make some friends, but you can take some contacts. You can take some phone numbers, research where the Ukrainian or Russian Orthodox Church, Russian stores, so you can kind of prepare. Another thing is, it also depends on personality. I'm very introverted. It's really weird. So it's not a good example, because I could probably live in the desert for a while as long as I have my favorite things to do and my closest people. I can probably survive, I don't know, in Siberia or on Antarctica or anywhere in the forest. Like, it's really weird, because I like to be alone a lot. But there are some people and some ladies that cannot be alone, that need consistent girlfriends thing going on. So you need to know who you in relationship with. You need to know who you are dating, because if she's the lady that's very, very communicative, you will have to do some preparation. So I hope I give you enough of information. Krillin, thank you so much for the super chat. And you're saying Bloomfield Grosse Pointe is the old money. Yep. I have a lot of friends who live in Bloomfield. Bloomfield, Birmingham, Northville, Ann Arbor, Brighton. It's all like higher level, nice areas, Royal Oak, and so forth. John is saying, absolutely, Veronica. Veronica's topic is very interesting, and she has good, decent tips for any topic she talks on YouTube. Oh, thank you so much. I'm glad that my topic is relevant for you, John. Thank you so much. John is asking, were you from a bigger city, Veronica, in Ukraine? My lady is from a bigger city. Well, I'm from the biggest city. I'm from Kiev, Ukraine, which is most incredible city to me, of course, because I'm from there. Yes, and it was a huge change, but I knew why I came here. I had a very deep motivation, and I speak fluent English as well, even back then. So that's another thing that helps. But going from 5 million to 5,000, I have more subscribers than I have people in my town. So it's quite an adjustment. But guys, I want to tell you something else about it. In US, you have a vehicle. I actually do not mind that much to live in a small town where it's quiet, because I like my peace. But I'm going out. You can go out, you can have a weekend out, you can drive out. So I don't know if I would like to live downtown Chicago, or downtown Miami, for example. Now I'm used to peace, and so that's too much. On the other hand, I could use, sometimes you feel that you could use some more sophisticated place where you can connect with more people. But really, guys, it's all about your attitude. If you determined, if you appreciate what you have, you will find happiness in any place. Yes, sometimes you miss certain things. This is when you can travel. Or if you miss them way too much, maybe you should move where you like it so much. Maybe you should have 2 homes. Maybe you should have 1 home that's really small, so that doesn't cost a lot, so you can travel a lot. Maybe you do have to move to another neighborhood. So it's very, very individual. It's very personal. But on the other hand, everything is figure outable when you want to figure it out. I feel that all the problems can be solved when inside of you you appreciate and build on what you already got. I will lie to you if I won't tell you that I didn't have a depression. It was not right when I come here. It happened a little bit later when things started to go rough in my marriage. I did have a severe depression. I mean, I'm not talking about some, doctors and pills. I've never done any of this American stuff, because I know if you have a depression or anxiety, it means you have an issue and that issue needs to be resolved. That's why you have a depression. So once again, I would be sweet talking to you if I would not tell you that I didn't have a crisis, that I wasn't hurting and I didn't feel completely alone. But in my case, that difficult situation really built me into a person I am right now. And everything I have right now, I wouldn't change it for the world. So you will have your own story, and you might have difficult times. You might have some things in your marriage. You might be able, to work through them if you're with the right person. This is when you reach out for help. But a lot of things are in our hands. A lot of things, we can all live in the same city and have completely different experiences. Because even though I live in Michigan where, not so much of Russian culture, but when I come home, I have Russian culture at my home. I have my candles, have my special tea, I have my conversations, I don't have a big screen TV, I don't have, fast food, I don't have I don't know what else. I don't have any of what's so popular in here, but nobody comes in your house and tell you how you need to live. So if you are in love with Ukrainian woman and she is and she wants to create that comfort, let her do that. Let her create rituals. When you come from work, you have dinner together. You're not standing there, buying some Hungry Howie's pizza or whatever, McDonald's. You have dinner together. You have rituals, and then you have tea and candlelight, and you talk and you connect. You make love. I mean, you can create beautiful life even if you don't have that much of extras. I'm going a little deep, so that's probably would be for another conversation. Oh my gosh, I need to go. I love you guys. I really do. I want to tell you how much I appreciate you all. I will make some more videos if I see that that's a good topic. Thank you so much for supporting my channel. I want to say thank you today for those of you who support my channel, with super chats, with sharing, with commenting, with liking, subscribing, and those of you who've been very generous and buying my services or sending me some gifts. I want to tell you how much I appreciate it. I looked the other day, 2/3 of my videos, not 2/3, but maybe half of my videos are demonetized because of controversial content. Welcome to the, world of extra liberal views. Don't want to discriminate anybody. I have a lot of people of different beliefs who are watching me, but anything extra is not good. So a lot of my videos marked on YouTube as controversial content, so which means it's completely demonetized. So everything that I do and supposed to get paid, even though those are not huge money, but it's still a little gratitude, that's all waived. And it just really means a lot to me that you subscribing, you trust in my opinion, you supporting what I do. I want to say special thank you for several gifts I had received with the last couple of weeks. It really means the world to me, and I know that gifts gonna be used, money are going to be spent, but that feeling when I get your encouragement and recognition and gratitude, that will be with me till the day I die. So thank you so very much for your support and for being so wonderful. Please request more topics, and I'll be happy to help. I hope this topic was useful for you. Thank you so very much. I will read all the rest of the comments a little bit later on.